Hey everyone, it's Jason. So today we have DC deck building Dark Knight's Metal, based off the Dark Knight's Metal storyline. So there's a promo inside. I'll probably show it off. It's just one of the character cards, just because it's in here. But I'll make sure I point out which one it is. So yeah, this is based off the new Dark Knight's Metal, with all the evil Batman, the Batman who laughs. It's got a little bit different, slight different gameplay mechanic. Otherwise, it's like all the other base sets. So let's grab our heroes. I realize I didn't pull it out of the box yet. And take a look. Let's see who we got. So we have a bunch of, we're just going to hop right into this. There's like one big new mechanic to the game, outside of the villains. And we'll get to that we'll get to that after these guys. So we have Plastic Man. Once during each of your turns, you may have the next card you play gain a type or subtype of your choice till the end of turn. Dr. Fate. Once during each of your turns, if you control 2 or more heroes and or equipment, put up to 3 cards with a cost of 0 from your discard pile into your hand. So you get like up to three extra free cards. Not bad. Kendra Saunders, also known as Hawk Girl or Hawk Woman, depending on which variation. Once during each of your turns, if you control 2 or more villains and or heroes, plus 2 power. Mr. Terrific. Once during each of your turns, you may gain a weakness and put it into your hand. If you do, draw 2 cards. Aquaman. During each of your turns, if you control 2 or more heroes and or superpowers, plus 1 power, you may put a card you gain this turn on top of your deck. Cyborg. Once during each of your turns, you may plus 1 power for each metal card you control. Ooh, metal. That's a new type. So we'll get to that one in a minute. I wasn't sure if it referenced it yet. Hal Jordan. The second time you buy or gain a card from the lineup during each of your turns, you may destroy a starter card you control. The Flash. Once during each of your turns and you play a defense, draw a card. There we go. So that's not as good as the original Flash, because the original Flash in the base game just let you draw an extra card every turn. But this one, yeah, you can only do it once per turn. It's definitely not as good. Wonder Woman. During each of your turns, if you control 2 or more equipment and or superpowers, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. Superman. It requires 3 weakness cards for your character to become captured. That's the other new concept. The third weakness is also returned to the stack. Each time you play a weakness, gain 1 power. So that's 2 characters that are specifically you're going to need stuff for this set. And Batman, of course. Each time you play a weakness, click at the top card of your deck, destroy it, or leave it. Alright. Then the promo card is Deathstroke. You get a villain, super villain in here to play as. Once per turn, you may when you destroy a card, you can draw a card. So it's actually kind of cool. You get a promo version if you get the first printing. At least I like that they have it listed. It's the first printing, so you know whether or not you're going to get it. Yeah, so the actual little fun thing, so someone can play as a villain if they'd like. So of course we're going to get our divider for the box, and then there's a randomizer card somewhere in there. So I want to do this a little bit differently than I normally do, because usually I go through all the cards and then I go to the villains. I'm going to go to the super villains first. So we have this extra big one here. Little divots and stuff in there, I just noticed. It's kind of interesting. There's now a flat card. But it's about the same size as all the rest. And maybe that's why they made it. You kind of see there's notches on there. And they maybe made it a little bit missing form just so it doesn't fit exactly with them. There's also a thicker cardboard, has a red back just so you don't get it mixed in with everything. So this is the main villain that always stays out. The Batman Who Laughs. It says, each time you gain a supervillain, the cost of 13 or less, rescue a captured character and gain 2 weakness cards. If at any time there are no captured characters, top card of the character stack becomes captured. So what happens in this mode is the game starts, is Batman starts captured. So you keep Batman hidden behind this, just so much you know he's back there. Then throughout the game, various things will capture more heroes. So you take any other heroes from your pile, and you start putting them below this. So it says each time you gain a supervillain with a cost of 13 or less, rescue the captured character and gain 2 weaknesses. So if I did, I could go ahead and pull Hal Jordan out. Now I could be Hal Jordan and Cyborg because I have 2 heroes. So you gain extra abilities. So it's kind of a neat concept because you capture these guys so you can lose them. You could also end up losing both any of your personalities and not have any special abilities. So at any time there are no captured characters, the top card of the character stack becomes captured. So there'll always be at least one character behind it. Unless, of course, the stack runs out, I guess. Alright, let's look at our super villains we get to fight. These are the Dark Multiverse Batman. So we have the Devastator, where Batman fused with Doomsday. First appearance. Okay, so if you're not familiar with what Dark Knight metal is, the Dark Knight, they have a Dark Multiverse. So DC has the multiverse of universes. 0, which is Prime, Earth, and then it's 1 through 52, I believe. And then now they unveiled the Dark Multiverse, which is -1 through -52, where basically all the bad stuff really happens. Like, not the bad stuff doesn't happen in the other universes, but this is where things went terribly wrong. And these are a bunch of characters with Batman Who Laughs, you know, there's other Batmen, where each one, like, they kind of took over or combined the role of one of the other Justice League members because their world was failing so bad that they needed to stop. The heroes were trying to stop them, or something happened, and essentially they combine with the other heroes to try and they're trying to fix their world. They're trying to still be Batman and fix everything, but they did it like in the worst possible way. The Batman Who Laughs ended up killing the Joker, but then the Joker released a toxin into Batman, which basically corrupted his mind and made him more Joker-like. And that's where this one comes from. And he's trying to serve this guy, who's the final boss. He's got the blue back. This is Barbatos. This is like an evil bat god. And he's trying to get all these different Batmen together and do stuff, and they're trying to get a pure Batman. It's an interesting story. And then the metal part comes in with Batman's trying to seek out all the different types of metals. And they make some armor. And I haven't read all of it, but there's a couple different parts in there. So that's very good. So this is a Batman that took the Doomsday Serum to take down Superman. And it's his first appearance. Attack. Each player reveals 3 random cards from their hand, then either destroys those cards or destroys the other cards in their hand. Reward. After refilling your hand at the end of this turn, gain a breakthrough and put it into your hand. A breakthrough is a new type of card. So we'll get to that one next. Now we have the Dawnbreaker. This is a Batman that got Green Lantern's ring and then essentially corrupted it so he can make darkness appear and create darkness abilities. At first appearance attack, each player simultaneously discards a card. The player that discards a card with the lowest cost gains 2 weakness. Reward, gain a card in the lineup. So these guys are a little bit differently. They don't go into your deck. You just gain a reward for beating them. This is the Merciless. Batman that took on the helm of Ares and became like an Ares Batman to defeat Wonder Woman. Each player reveals the top card of their deck, passes it to the discard pile of the foe who didn't avoid this attack. Reveal the top card of the main deck. Put either that card or the card beneath it on top of your deck. The Red Death. Batman fused with the Flash into the Speed Force, so he could try and be everywhere at once. Attack. Each player draws a card, then discards 2 cards at random. Reward. Draw 2 additional cards when refilling your hand at the end of this turn, then discard 2 cards. The Drowned. So this one's actually doubly interesting, because this is a universe where all the sexes of the characters are changed. So instead of Batman being Bruce Wayne, this is a female version. Oh, I don't think it's not Bruce. I can't remember her name. I want to say it's like Barbara, but I don't think that's right. But then Aquaman's a woman, so on and so forth. All the genders are flipped. So this one becomes the Drowned. In order to stop Aquawoman and the Atlanteans, this Batman fuses herself with various things and underwater stuff. She can fight underwater and becomes the Drowned. Attack. Each player reveals the top 5 cards of their deck, stopping when empty. All discarded, revealed, and discards all revealed cards for the cost of greater or 1. Reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, destroy any number of them, return the rest. This is the Murder Machine. Batman basically took over Cyborg. Alfred died. Batman and Cyborg created a version of him, like an AI type version, that could still help Batman out. That AI started going crazy and was killing everybody, trying to 100% protect Batman. And then Batman eventually took over Cyborg because he didn't want to get rid of Alfred. Attack. Each player gains 2 weakness cards unless they discard a metal card. Destroy up to 2 cards you control. And then finally, we have Barbatos. Unavoidable first appearance. Attack. Each player gains a weakness for each character on their team. So the more guys you have, the worse it's going to hit you. Destroy each weakness in your discard pile or your score pile. Alright, so there's our villains. Before we get to the metal cards, let's just do a quick look over the basic cards. So we have our randomizer here for the multiverse set. We have, of course, our punches. Wonder Woman punching with the lasso. And then we have our vulnerability cards. Batman being attacked by a bunch of like undead Supermen. So those are our starting cards. We have weakness cards, which you normally have, but this one's a little bit different. So it says, play weakness cards before playing other cards or ending your turn. So that's normal. You have to play weakness cards. I guess you don't have to, you just don't do anything, but now they force you to play them. If you control 2 weakness cards, put 1 in your score pile, so you automatically are going to get -1, and then return the other 1 to the stack. One of your characters becomes captured and your turn ends. So it works a little bit differently than regular weaknesses, because normally they just sit in there and they just clog up your deck. Here, if you play, you get at least 2 at the same time. 1 goes to your score pile, so you're going to get -1 no matter what. You can't avoid it anymore. You can't eventually get rid of this card. The other 1 goes back to your deck, so then now you don't have any more weakness cards. You got rid of both of them. But then you lose your character, and your turn ends. So if you have 2, it sucks, because it's not just like saying, oh, I have 2 less cards. It's literally going to be like, your turn ends, and you lose your character card, and you have -1 BP. Alright, and then this is the other brand new card that replaces the kicks. Normally you had kicks, which are superpower, getting you +2. Now you get breakthrough, so this costs 3, gives you +2, same as a kick. But says you may return this card to the stack. If you do, destroy a weakness or vulnerability you control. So that lets you get rid of those weaknesses and vulnerabilities, so you don't pile them up like that. So that's kind of a cool thing. So if you're playing with another set or whatever, or if you have this one, you could throw this out instead of kicks. and give people the option. Like, do I need a kick because I want a superpower, or do I want this other card? Alright, so then, now we're going to get to the metal cards. Metal cards are like every other card, except they're foily. So hopefully, with my lighting and stuff, you can actually see this. So it's still an equipment. There's superpowers, heroes, villains. And the big difference is they're foil, so you can tell them apart right away. It's just be shiny like metal. Plus, they have the metal subtype. So when you get a card specified, it requires something with metal. Like this, put a hero, villain, or metal card in your discard pile into your hand. That's what this does. Definitely you could throw these guys into any other game, because just ignore the metal keyword for cards that don't require it. So this is Electrium. So I don't know. There's, I think, like 7 different types of metals in the universe, the DC universe now. Some of them are kind of interesting, like Electrium. And then there is my new sleeves are kind of sticking together. So then we have Dysonium. I'm going to try and see if we can make sure you guys can see that. There's Batman with a Joker card through his eye. +2 power. If you have played a superpower or another metal card this turn, you may destroy a card in your hand or discard pile. We get 2 of those. We have Promethium. I don't know what this is supposed to be a picture of. It's like a white. I thought Promethium was what Deathstroke's sword was made out of, I believe. So that just gives you +2 power. You got 2 of those. Alright, then we got the stupidest card thing I've ever seen for a comic book thing. Bacmium. I just hate the fact that this series already, Dark Knight Metal, okay, evil Batman, gotcha, I'm fine with that. Batman that got corrupted in different ways, great. But then there's a god called Barbatos, or Barbatos. And I'm like, okay, so now there's a bat god too? And it revolves, and then Batman's looking for metals. Oh look, he found a Batmanium metal, and it's just like, alright, now you're getting a little crazy with all the Batmans. The Dark Multiverse, there are other characters that are corrupted. There's evil Superman, and Wonder Womans, and Flashes, and everything else. It's not just Batman characters. They just focused on for this particular thing, because that the Bat God was hunting down other Batmen, because they figured Batman characters would be able to work together. But yeah, this just starts to get a little ridiculous for me, even by comic book standards. Reveal the top card of your deck, plus power equal to its BP. Then we have the 8th metal, Sunblade. That's just weird, like, why they specifically don't have a different name for this, but it's called 8th metal. So which one's first metal, which one's second metal? I get that this is a Sunblade, but it's kind of weird that they called some of these one thing, some of them other things. So reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, put 1 card of each type into your hand, and discard the rest. And then of course we have the 9th Metal Mace, which I guess is supposed to be like 9th Metal Mace, but it's 9th. This is a Hawkman thing. Hawkman and the Hawk thing I guarantee to use 9th metal forever. So it's like, it's not a new concept. This is something that's been around forever. So they didn't necessarily create whatever 9 or 10 new metals just for this series. But the one they did create was a Batman metal, which is kind of dumb. So +4 power. Defense, discard to avoid an attack. If you do, draw 3 cards, then destroy any number of weakness cards in your hand. And then finally we have Element X, which I'm guessing is the special armor they wore to fight. And I'm guessing Element X is supposed to be like Element 10 for the 10th metal. But I'm not positive on that. 5 power. At the end of the game, this is worth 1 fewer VP for each weakness in your deck. Alright, now we're going to get to some heroes that are metal. We have Kendra Saunders. +2 power. If you have played a villain or another metal card this turn, gain 1 additional power. We get a couple of those. We have Steel, which makes sense, I suppose. Draw a card. +1 power for each equipment and or metal card you have played this turn. We have Cyborg 1 million. I'm not really sure why he's 1 million. I love the DC 1 million series, but there was never a Cyborg in any of those that I recall, at least. +2 powers if you have played an equipment, superpower, or another metal card, gain 2 additional power. We're going to get some villains. We have Anmar Singh. I'm not sure who this is, but he gives you +3 power. We have a Deathstroke. +2 power. Defense, discard this to avoid an attack. If you do, draw a card, and you may destroy a card in your hand. We have a Lady Blackhawk, kind of an evil metal bird outfit. +2 power. If you have played another hero or have another metal card this turn, gain 1 additional power. And the final metal card is Carter Hall or Hawkman, and he gains this like awesome hawk armor form. I'm trying to show off if I can, but it keeps glaring on me. If I take this out of the sleeve a bit, I don't think that's going to help a bunch. That's about the best I can do. Alright, so he gets +3 power. Attack each foe gains a weakness and puts it in their hand. Alright, so that was our metal cards. Alright, who are our heroes? We have Plastic Man, who's stuck as an egg. +2 power, +4, or if you control 4 different card types, +2 additional power. Detective Chimp plays an important role in this series. +1 power, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, stopping when the deck is empty, discard any number of them. Aquaman, +1 power, name a non-starter card or subtype, then reveal the top card of your deck. If the name or subtype an additional 3 power, metal is a subtype. Mr. Terrific, +2 power, reveal the top card of your deck, you may destroy it. This is kind of weird because, you know, every other set, usually whoever the main character you play as, they aren't also the heroes. And this deck is just like, nope, it's going to be a lot of the same characters. So it's kind of different. Because it's trying to focus more on this tight story versus in just a general theme of like Teen Titans or villains or, you know, secondary heroes. So you have Dr. Fate, +2 power. At the top of add the top card of the main deck to the lineup. If a card has a cost of 5 or greater, draw a card. Hal Jordan, gain a card with a cost of 4 or less from the lineup. If you control a weakness, gain any card from the lineup instead. The Flash, draw a card. Defense, discard this to avoid an attack. If you do, draw 3 cards, then discard 3 cards. I love this. We have Dream. Reveal the top 3 cards of the main deck, gain 1 of them, return other cards in any order, just because he's not a character that you normally see too much of. He is part of the DC universe, though. Wish they also would have had Death in here, his sister. That would have been cool. Superman, 4 power. You may discard each weakness you control, and then Wonder Woman. You have 1 or fewer characters on your team, rescue a character. If you don't rescue a character this way, draw 3 cards. Let's look at some villains. So, we have Rabid Robins. These are the Joker who laughs, has a bunch of kids he Jokerized and turned into Robins. So when you gain this card, gain a weakness. +1 power, draw a card. And there are a bunch of these. There are 4 of them. We have Baby Darkseid. +2 power, attack. Target foe discards their hand with a cost of 1 or more. I am curious if this baby Darkseid appeared like relatively before, or like enough time afterwards, or if they were close enough to each other that it's just a weird coincidence, because they also have Marvel as baby Thanos, which Cosmic Ghost Rider was flying around with. And I wonder if it's just a really weird coincidence, or if like one, I don't want just to say copied, but if they're like, oh, they did it, that's an interesting idea. Because Darkseid and Thanos already get compared enough, and then weirdly enough, they both have baby forms. So that's interesting. Strange Day. +2 power. The next time you would gain one or more weakness this turn, put one of them into a foe's discard pile. Ra's al Ghul. +2 power. Attack. The foe gains a weakness. And he's in here because at one point during this series, all of the immortals of the DC universe have gathered together. So you've got like him and Vandal Savage and a bunch of other immortal characters are all kind of like, okay, we're the immortal characters. Like, we have a secret cabal that we've never mentioned before. Here's the Court of Owls. +1 power, draw a card. Attack. Each foe discards a metal card. Black Manta. +2 power. Each foe puts a weakness in their discard pile on top of their deck. Starro. 3 power. Target foe discards a non-weakness for each character on their team. And we have Black Adam. 3 power. Discard to avoid an attack. If you do, draw a card and the attacker gains a weakness. Alright. And then we have some superpowers. Yeah, quite a few of them actually. So we have Escape. +1 power. Defense. Discard to avoid. If you do, draw 2 cards and discard 2. We have Flight. Just draw a card. Not really sure why Superman has a face mask on. I thought he could breathe in space, but you know. X-Ray Vision. Play the top card of the main deck, then return it. If it's an ongoing card, you may keep it instead. Now, I don't have seen any ongoing cards in this so far outside of the locations that are always ongoing. Hyper Time. +4 power, each player draws a card. Fair Play, Mr. Terrific. +2 power, if you control weakness, you may draw a card. The Speed Force, +2 power, discard to avoid an attack. If you do, put any number of cards at a cost of 0 from your discard pile into your hand. Search the Depths, +2 power. Look at the bottom card of your deck. You may put it on top of your deck or discard it. War Cry. +2 power. You and your target foe each draw a card. Fulcrum Abominus. They're using that special element X armor, it looks like. Draw 2 cards. +1 power for each character on your team. Mecha Construct. I love it. Giant robot. Green Lantern's one of my favorite DC characters. +1 power. When you buy or gain your second card from the lineup this turn, draw 2 cards. Ankh Portal. Dr. Fate. Like there's Steel and Mr. Terrific. If you have one or fewer characters on your team, rescue a character. If you don't, gain 3 power. Power Channeling. Reveal the top 2 cards of the main deck. Plus power equal to the combined VP, then return those cards in any order. And then Brutal Chase. +2 power, destroy a card in the lineup, then replace it. If the replacement is a metal card, you may gain it. Alright. We got some equipment here. The multiverse map. Reveal the top card of the main deck, plus power equal to its VP. Then you may put it on the bottom of the main deck. the Phantom Zone Projector, +2 power, defense. Discard this to avoid an attack. If you do, you may destroy a card in your discard pile. Like we've seen the Phantom Zone Projector before, or in other sets, but it plays differently, which I do like. The Phoenix Cannon, +1 power, you may gain a weakness. If you do, gain an additional 3 power. Carter Hall's Journal, you may put a card from your discard pile on top of your deck. At the end of the game, if you have 5 or more metal cards in your deck, this is worth 5 VP. Mr. Miracle? No, Mr. Terrific. T-Spheres, 3 power. You do not control a weakness, gain a weakness. And then finally, Anti-Monitor's Antenna. Ongoing, destroy or discard this from play, +1 power for each weakness in your discard pile. Alright, and then the last couple of cards we have are going to be the locations. We have Challenger Mountain, home of the Challengers of the Unknown. Once during each of your turns, when you play a metal card, you may draw a card. Tomb of Half Set, who's a guy that hates the Hawkman characters. At the start of your turn, at the start of each of your turns, you may discard your hand and draw 4 cards. The Oblivion Bar, where Detective Chimp hangs out. Defense, discard a card with a cost of 1 or greater from your hand to avoid an attack. The Dark Multiverse. At the start of each of your turns, you may put a card with a cost of 0 from your discard pile into your hand. And finally, the Forge of Worlds. Ongoing. Once during each of your turn, if there are 2 or more characters on your team, +2 power. Alright. So that was our Dark Knights Metal set. Yeah, some interesting new cards, new characters. The concept of the metal cards is neat. I don't think they'll probably revisit it in any set unless they would happen to do like a mini expansion. Exploring some more of that. It's kind of the downside of the way difference between the Marvel and DC is this has a lot more big box sets, it seems, versus the small ones. Like, they kind of have the 3 different sizes, where Marvel was just like, oh, we release these small sets that have, like, a couple of characters, but they're all themed, and they did that these expansions too, but I think Marvel did a little bit, he's done a little bit, has more sets and done more diversity of them, where this doesn't nearly hit nearly as much. They don't release sets nearly as often, so something like this is definitely a cool set, but you're not going to really revisit this metal concept anymore. So like, that stuff kind of is going to get tossed out. The thing with capturing the characters is a neat idea. And then getting multiple characters to use. Again, if they never revisit it though, it's kind of a sort of a interesting idea, but it's a waste if they don't incorporate it. They, like, every expansion, every set tries to introduce new concepts and ideas, but they don't keep any of them to the next set or expand upon them. So it's kind of a downside. Alright, that's all I got for this.